Hello, it's Gabby here for you. Before we jump onto this week's podcast, I just want to let you know about 2 ways that you can work with me. First of all, I do one-to-one coaching and I do that via Zoom, so we can jump on a Zoom call at a time to suit you. The second thing I've got for you is an online coaching course that's 12 modules that you can download straight away now. There will be a link somewhere around these podcast notes. And this is the course that I've designed, and it's got everything in it that I wish I'd have known when I finished cancer treatment and I was lost. So you can download that course now and you can start working towards making this your happiest and healthiest year ever. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello there, it's Gabby here for you, and I hope this finds you well. This week, I'm talking about a topic that I've only recently started learning about, and that is something called dopamine, if you're not familiar with it. I'm going to talk about what dopamine is and how it might be affecting your health and your mental focus and your mental clarity, and what you can do to improve your happiness by being conscious of this. So this week, I'm going to explain what dopamine is and how it affects our brain and our behaviour. I'm going to talk about the possibility you might want to consider a dopamine detox once you know what it is, the benefits of a dopamine detox and why it's so relevant today. And then I'm going to give you 4 really simple steps that will help you to implement a dopamine detox if that's what you want to do. So what is dopamine and why does it matter? So dopamine, basically, in very basic terms, it's a hormone, which is like a chemical messenger that comes from your brain to other parts of your body, and it controls motivation, pleasure, and reinforcement of behaviours. It's not all bad. I'm not going to tell you this is all bad. I'm just asking you to be mindful of the role that it's playing in your life. So dopamine plays a role in how we feel pleasure and rewards, and we all want that. It's part of the human experience. It's a big part of our unique human ability to think and to plan. It helps us to focus towards goals and to find things in life interesting. Like most other systems in your body, you don't really know about it or you don't notice it until something's gone wrong, or maybe it's causing you a problem. So too little or too much dopamine can lead to very many different health issues, and I'm going to talk about those. But it's become really to the fore, and people are talking about dopamine more and more now because it's part of the modern world, if you like. The world that we live in, as we know, is changing so much. Social media, the amount of information that we've all got access to, these are unprecedented times. And in some ways, that's a very exciting thing. But also, I think we need to be a bit mindful of the fact that our brains have not evolved in the same way that technology has, at the same rate as technology has. And so sometimes we just need to be a bit mindful about the way that we're using technology, the way we're reacting to all the information we have at our fingertips, and making sure that we can cope with it, we can process it. What we're doing is healthy for us, both physically and mentally, because I've talked before about the link between your mental health and your physical health. And as a cancer survivor, I'm very, very conscious of the fact my mental health, I know that affects my physical health and vice versa. So the modern dopamine overload that most of us are exposed to, and I'm as guilty of this as anybody. I'm on social media a lot. I get a lot of my coaching clients via social media. I love social media for keeping in touch with friends, with family, with connecting with people, finding out about events in my local area. Through social media, I've learned about my local yoga group that I go to now. So it serves so many good things in my life. But social media and constant stimulation can cause a spike in your dopamine. So your brain thinks, oh, this is good, this is good. It's like an addictive substance almost. Your brain is telling you this is good, I want more of this. And you see it sometimes with people, I've seen people get very upset when they've put a post on Facebook and they didn't get very many likes. And that constant, oh, I didn't get a like, what's going on? And I worry a lot about teenage girls, in particular, teenagers who are growing up thinking that this is normal to get their external validation via social media. And is that a good thing? And again, I'm not here to pass judgment on anybody. I'm here to suggest to you, if you're listening to this or watching this, think about how you're using your social media, and is it healthy for you? Have you got the balance right in your life of that reward and that motivation and that stimulation, or is it just getting a bit much? So the negative effects of overstimulation can be the inability to focus for a long period of time, and that constant craving for quick rewards. It's almost like everything's at our fingertips. We want the answer. We want some things now, which can lead to, for some people, increased stress and anxiety. And conversely to that, reduce long-term satisfaction and joy, which is what we all want in life. We all know life's full of ups and downs, but sometimes when things are a little bit out of balance, when you've got that overstimulation and your brain isn't really keeping up with it, that's when things can sometimes go wrong, and it can be sometimes something that's causing you more of a problem than it is giving you joy. Okay, so I'm going to talk now about what is a dopamine detox. Why would you think about doing that? Is it something that might be useful for you? And basically what it is, it's a practice to reduce overstimulation from activities like social media, from gaming. I mean, that's not something I'm exposed to, but I do know I've got quite an addictive personality. Back in the day, I used to play computer games, and I know the constant craving of getting a higher score, and people can play online now with their friends as well. So I just think if I started the gaming, I might not stop, so I don't go there. But it's a similar thing to social media, gaming, constant notifications. I've turned off a lot of the notifications on my phone because, again, you can't help but react to it sometimes. Oh, ping, ping, oh, who's that? It might be important. Nothing usually is that important you have to respond to straight away. But it's all part of the brain's reward system. We're wired up that way. And the people that make social media notifications, people that make these games, they know that we are wired up to react like that. And it's all part of, making their business, if you like, more successful, is clocking onto our triggers and the way that we react to things like that, as if we are not really in control of it. And sometimes it can feel like we're not in control, but remember, you always have a choice. Okay, so the concept of a dopamine detox came from, like a lot of things do, from America, from Silicon Valley, where probably years ahead of us in understanding these things and the impact of computers and of mobile phones and everything else like that on the brain, all this information overload. And they wanted to really study how they could be more productive. And they knew that this dopamine spike, if you like, it's like a glucose spike. If you're overeating junk food and sugary food, it feels great at first. You get that sugary spike, you get a bit of a rush. I know if you eat a bar of chocolate, you get that rush and you feel great initially, but then an hour later you feel a bit sluggish. Why did I eat that? And again, it's not saying you can't have chocolate. It's not saying you can't have social media. It's saying there's always a balance in life. And you want to feel in control of these stimulants in your life, whether it's chocolate, whether it's social media, not at the mercy of feeling almost powerless to resist the pinging of your phone or whatever it is that you're struggling with. Okay, so a dopamine detox will be temporarily, not forever, but just reducing those activities that cause those spikes. And it could be social media, could be binge watching TV shows, or it could be snacking. And I know TV shows as well, if you're really engrossed in a good thriller or a series that you're really into. I've done that. I've stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning watching something. I'll just watch another one, and they hook you and grab you in. And again, you almost feel powerless to say, no, I don't want to watch that anymore. And I need my sleep. So there's different levels of detox that you could do. You could chuck your phone out the window and never look at it again. Or you could think, well, actually, I'm just going to reduce the amount of time I spend on the phone and limiting the most addictive behaviors you've got, like screen time or maybe junk food, whatever it is that you've got an issue with. So what are the benefits of a dopamine detox? I shall tell you. I've got some benefits here. So increased focus and attention span. With fewer distractions, your brain can focus better. As I said, we are living in unprecedented times. The amount of information we've got at our fingertips is unheard of. We never had this amount of information before. Remember back in the day when I was studying, having to go to a library and scroll through books to find information that I wanted. Everything's instant now. Google or whatever search engine you look at, it's so much information is at your fingertips. You don't even have to search for it. I just turn my phone on, ping, 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 all these news headlines come. Maybe for things that I'm not really interested in. It's constant stimulation, constant information. And is that always good for us? So if we limit the amount of time we're looking at stuff like that, it can also give you the benefit of increased mental clarity. To remember, you're not like Pavlov's dog who's just responding mindlessly to a stimulus. You have choices. You can control the amount of time you spend looking at your phone, the amount of time you spend looking at a screen. Okay, and that will, I know it's worked for me, is enhance my motivation. When I'm working on a project now or working on a task that I want to finish, put my phone to one side, decide as and when I'm going to look at it, and give myself some space, literally some breathing space, some thinking space. And that for me has enhanced my motivation and made it easier for me to get stuff done. Studies have shown, there's many studies on this, that this will lead to an increase in overall happiness and satisfaction, which is what we all want, isn't it? Long-term happiness is not based on that dopamine hit, but in meaningful experiences and meaningful connections with the people around you, people that care about you, rather than just that instant information just making you feel better for a split second. So if you're interested in implementing a dopamine detox, I've got 4 steps for you, very simple steps, step-by-step guide of what you can do. First of all is think about the triggers. What is it that triggers you, that makes you react in that way? Is it a social media app? Is it snacking? Is it notifications on your phone? What is it? Just identify that first of all. Just think about it calmly and mindfully. And then decide that you're going to set some clear boundaries or a time frame. Decide on how long you're going to detox. It could be an hour. It could be a day, a week. It could be at weekends that actually you want to switch your phone off, or you don't want to do those behaviors anymore at the weekend. You want to spend some time for you. Step 3 is to replace those distractions with some healthier alternatives. So things like exercising, mindfulness, journaling, or walks in nature are all excellent alternatives. And I live in the suburbs. I don't always get out in nature, but I know, rather than looking at my phone first thing in the morning, what I do now is I'm very mindful of this. My phone is charging in another room. I don't look at it first thing in the morning anymore. I get up, I do some exercise, I do some meditation. I'll read a couple of chapters of a book that I'm reading, and then I will go and walk in my local park, which always calms my mind so much. So, and I feel like I'm operating, and I'm operating on a completely different level than if I just sat looking at my social media apps. Those messages can wait. They can wait for an hour or two until I get back to people. But that first hour in the day, and I've talked before about this, about setting yourself up for success and morning rituals that help me, replacing that constant looking at your phone and responding to things with things that you're very mindful that you've decided to do. And again, you're sending your brain very powerful message about you're in control of you. You're in control of your mental health. You're doing a step every day that your future self will thank you for in improving your health and happiness. And how wonderful is that? Okay. So I'm not the fun police. I'm not here to say you've got to cut it out altogether. I'm saying just think about having a bit more balance. If this is something that's striking a chord with you, maybe having a bit more balance in your life would be helpful. Okay. So in summary, the benefits of a dopamine detox, I've told you about the 4 steps to implement it, and the potential benefits that you're going to get in focus, in mental clarity, in your health and happiness. It's really worth thinking about. So I'd encourage you to try it. Do a mini detox for a day or a weekend, or even just a couple of hours. But please get in touch with me. Share on social media, conversely, how you're getting on with that. PM me, send me an email. I would love to hear from you. And thank you so much for tuning in. You know that means the world to me. Please give me a like and a follow. Get in touch with me if I can help you with anything. As always, I'd urge you to have a wonderful week until I speak to you again. Stay safe and stay sane. And thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.